It's videotaping.
Huh?
It's videotaping.
Okay. Oh yeah, so I guess yeah. Hey there. I guess I just thought that it was necessary for us to maybe videotape as many days as we could possible, showing the progress of our journey. We didn't have a lot of days to really show you our journey in the BLM lands. We were able to stay away from town and stay out there and have ceremony and come back into energy flow and motion and movement. There was a brief channel video of that. Um, but as it turns out, we've been having our batteries dead and we've been having issue charging those batteries. And today we got to go on a nice little short walk with way too many items in our hands, and that was a nice, wonderful journey and struggle into the perfection of flow and to the next ride that would bring us to our next ride, and have us not waiting very long for these rides either. It was really beautiful, really wonderful. And now we're sitting at Basha's, and we've been charging all the electronics so that we could make more videos more quickly, coming deeper into the light language channel, into the flow of the earth and flow of everything that's going on, and coming into deeper expressions of channel between ourselves. Right now, we're talking about the mundane being really important to maybe even capture in video, as today we are opening the toes and charging the items, eating the food, doing the things in which we need to do. Opening the toes was turning into such a beautiful channel. I thought, man, well, we really maybe should videotape this, because it was really beautiful, the talking about how the being able to feel the subtle frequencies of the toes and being able to move with the different motions of the toes, but stay going in a singular direction, allowing certain feelings to come to the forefront and move continuously towards that original point in feeling, allowing then the original point to come back to the forefront feeling and then lead on even further, allowing other points of motion to begin the motion, and how that would open up channels from other differing beginning points that were previously secondary focal points and previously unnoticed due to this. But this is all different ways in which to open the different patterns of the toes, and this may be extremely difficult for somebody to do, really. Talking about how it would be good to get this on videotape, and then how maybe it wouldn't be good, but then also the contradiction or the counterpart, or the counter to that, um, that the ability to become so soft as to be able to open the feet in such a way as to be able to feel these channels in such a way. It really takes a great dedication to awareness and to flow into the body, and if force is being used, it's not going to be able to come to the great sense and fluidity, achieving the discipline and precision that is extremely effective in giving reason to even doing this practice in any manner. Surely opening the toes to any degree is going to be extremely helpful for motion of the body, and for the legs, and for the knees, and for the joints, and that will help people throughout many years and ages. I'm unsure why we for so long have neglected the feet and the movement of the toes of the body, as we see our primate friends and relatives, or however as we wish to perceive these ape mammal things that also have toes, or anything in which has toes. They all use these toes in order to help them move in a way in which their body is meant to move. And humans also. We are quite the dynamic creature. We are such an amazing, magnificent, elegant work of art, that the way we move is not always so obvious to us, the way we've become due to our laziness, due to our lack of focus, due to our lack of being able to know how to be, because we're so easily forcing constantly. We are moving so very quickly, we don't know how to exist subtly, to see the way in which we move much more effortlessly, the way in which we come to places that are exactly the same as that which we need, through motioning with fluidity, through surrendering in a way to something that is actually essentially and literally ourselves in our own heart. And we would be able to find this place in patience if we would simply seek no more in certain manners, in certain forms, in attachment style ways, and grasping for things that we believe are needed in emergency, in anxiety at this moment now, um, based upon illusory understandings, based upon identifying stories with certain belief structures, believing that this is that when actually it is this other thing that we've never even had come into our awareness before. So, moving with fluidity, moving with subtlety, being able to really, really be able to feel comes to becoming so soft, softer than we've ever felt our breath before, softer than what we've ever felt ourselves before, that when we're in the greatest point of relaxation, we're still not feeling as soft and as subtle as what it is I'm speaking. And there are wonderful, amazing ways to reach this point in the now moment in ourself. Dedication to flow and to realization and to being, to the seeking of wisdom deep within us, from the heart within us. This toe exercise we're doing seems quite mundane, but it's a really amazing meditation. It takes so much patience and presence, so much awareness. And the voice is actually seemingly something that would rebuttal perhaps the presence of this. Well, if I begin motion with the breath going through the channel of voice, which the breath is running, the heart is also then beating the running of that breath and all that is. And so this amazing breath run by the heart, moved by the moment, moved by all, the heart of all, is now here in a tone resisted and brought down to what appears to us to be a density, but is a pinching of a chord shape to create form and understanding. And we call this the voice, the word, the way the breath is breathed into sound. And as long as I continue the breath being breathed into sound, it actually is really simple in following the flow in a really amazing way, actually. It's really phenomenal. But I would say to get to this amazing subtlety and feeling, it's going to take quite a bit of work. And a person's mind can only see what a person's mind has been able to see through the expansion of one's mind, through the giving of greater perspectives, greater amounts of perspectives, greater angles of view. And it really doesn't matter the angles of view you have if they're all looking in crazy ways, not giving conclusory understandings. So gaining angles of view that really have understandings based within truth, or understandings that are actual literal realities, are really beneficial to really anchoring one into a center point within the present moment that they're in, and a knowing of themselves. So really there's just so much information in the world, so many places to view within limitlessness, and you could view something that has an encyclopedia of knowledge within it. But because it's an encyclopedia of knowledge, you only have a little bit of time to come into awareness of a few of the words, sentences, and phrases that were passing through as you read the entire thing, perhaps in a glimpse of time. Now, this is a really hard retained knowledge. Now, maybe the embodiment of such frequency is within you and will filter out in the integration of such an experience, but you're going to understand that this is a huge amount of things. Most people talking about the Akashic Records have no structure to the manner in which they're able to dialogue it, which is all right, not a big deal. It's a very esoteric, flimsy thing looking into millions and millions and millions and millions of piles of data. But what really we're looking for here, or at least what really I've been looking for, what really it is that I found through my realization, and what it is that I'm pointing people towards, is the most efficient route that I have noticed within my own journey of realizing what is already here occurring in the realms of perfection. And so that most efficient, easy route brings to the most simple understanding the truth of all that is, the most basic, the one that can be found in the very center of us all, the one very closest, the one that's reverberated through every frequency and every understanding, through every place, and is almost as simple, or as simple as A, B, and C, really. And perhaps we could even break it down to an even simpler place of understanding, but in this way we would not then be able to use words in which to describe it. It would be a feeling, an embodiment, an entire fullness of experience that would then maybe be able to be described and pointed at by one word, or a great line in sentences of words, and to describe the namelessness of that amazing feeling in the moment that is non-duality in full focus. And so this amazing toe practice, as I'm talking about, is a way to bring one's channels super ridiculously open, moving the foot the way the body's meant to be moving, um, and really just moving the leg and the joints and all these things in a way of fluidity with the body that stops me from being able to have injury through rapid leg motion, and also weaving of energy through the motion of the feet as well. And again, has plenty of other focuses as you become patient, moving in one direction that you focused on. Just the awareness of that place is what moves you in that place. You don't have to use any force. You just have awareness of that spot. The awareness alone will move it. It's kind of like a really insane, maybe intense tickle style fashion. Originally, the movement of things can feel quite orgasmic, even. It's an extremely intense, great feeling, but it's easy to kick oneself out of, until you become more neutral to what's occurring. And then it's just really allowing. And when you get to a point where you think you know what's the next motion, it's easy for you to try to help and guide it move. But it's nice for you just to trust and allow it to do its thing. It can take you forever, though, because once you decided it needs to go to a certain place, now you're in a patient mode. And if you're in patience mode to where you're waiting for a certain thing, that's not really what we're looking for here. We're looking for you to not even really be waiting. The type of patience that comes from not even wanting anything at all from what it is that you are actually currently present with. And so just be present and aware with the particular spot of the beginning motion, and that will lead you through the other motions. Eventually you can get to a point to where you can press into a spot, but that's because that's the only where of motion to go, and that's when you found the point in which motion can then be moved with muscular structure and be actually benefited, versus like come into the way of what is the very small neural passageways that are beginning the motion, creating the synapses that were once dormant and unused and so kind of weak, creating them to be strong and to work together in unison to create the new avenue of motion. This is very beautiful. This is a way to move your entire energy body through the weaving of your frequencies, the polishing of your mirror into deeper places of yourself. And this is what we're going to be talking about when it comes into the movement, the flow of the breath, the body, and what is actually here occurring within all that is. Here within non-duality, as we break down consciousness in a way that is easily understood and easily applicable by all involved, while also using the disclaimers or clauses that would remind us the reasons for coming into ground with certain places of compassion, wisdom, and harmony with all beings, from the low to the high, to the big to the small, as these are literally parts of ourselves. And unless we can find a way to bring ourselves into this way of compassion, it's going to be difficult for us to realize ourselves in a way of equanimity, which is kind of important in a certain sense. And luckily for us, we have aspirational prayers that can be said by our own hearts, just whatever it is that we authentically aspire for. If there is a shortcoming in which we see ourselves to have, it could be that we don't have that. And the proof of that will be that we're making an aspirational prayer to ensure that we do not have that shortcoming. And that aspiration and that intention to move forward in a certain way, really in this way, be all that's necessary to move us forward into these places of greater realization. But a dedication is necessary, a devotion to yourself, and thus to all and to others is necessary. But you will see what it may mean for this in the future as you come into greater parts of yourself, into your heart, into your divine life purpose, and what all of this is. Thank you for everything. I love you. And yeah, appreciate you guys always.
And then
Yeah, I think we could.